Today I have with me the Xbloom Studio. This is an automatic pour over machine that comes in at $499 and it has some amazing features when it comes to making coffee. First off, I do want to give a quick shout out to Xbloom for sending me this. I requested this machine because I wanted to review it, and lastly because I wanted to put it up against the Fellow Aiden, which I've had my hands on for a few months now, and that video will be coming directly after this. You can see my review of that currently up on my channel, so you'll see a direct comparison between the two. So I want to note this comes in a lot of different features. There are multiple different features on this that I want to highlight. The first one is can be a pod machine, so you can buy specialty coffee pods, and I'll show you and brew coffee with this specifically in just a moment. It also has a built-in grinder where you can put your beans in up top here. It's got a built-in scale down here. It's got a hot water tap here, and it has a small water tank, but you can also plumb it into a 5-gallon bucket or a gallon bucket or any kind of water reservoir that you want. It's also got an additional dosing cup here that's magnetic and sticks right there. And then it has the Omni dripper, which is the dripper that you can use to use your own coffee beans. This dripper has a nice feature on the inside of it where there is a lip to keep that filter pressed down, and you simply select it in there. So I want to go over how to use this machine and a couple of the drawbacks. First off, there are 3 buttons that you'll see on this machine, and this first one is the scale button. So you can see right now there is zeroed out on the scale. I put this in there. Hopefully that number shows up, but it's 38.8 grams, and then you can tear it out, and now it's back at 00. Throw something else on there, 21 grams. You can exit out of that completely. Then you have the feature of the hot water tap here, and you can select here, you can select whatever temperature you want all the way up to 203 degrees or boiling point. So I'm going to select 202 right here, and then I can select how I want it to brew. I can do a circle pattern, a spiral pattern, or a straight brew. So I want to go ahead and run that spiral pattern. And you can see how it adjusts the screen here for the temperature. So whatever the corresponding thing is to the dial is what you adjust. So like right there, it's adjusting the way that it pours. And then right here is the temperature. And then you press this in, and that will click play. So you'll see right here how this will spin out, and it will give the time. So it's going to do a straight pour, and now it's going to do a nice spiral pour. Hopefully you can see that all right. And it's going to automatically weigh it out as well. The nice thing about this is the way that it weighs. There we go. The way that it weighs out the drink is based off of whatever is built into this machine. It's not the scale. The scale just kind of helps you weigh out your beans. So in other words, if this is touching anything on the scale, you're not going to have any issues down there because it's kind of weighing that out. You'll simply turn that, and then you can exit back to the main menu. And right here, you will see the grinder. You can adjust the RPMs of the grinder all the way down to 60 up to 120. And you can adjust the grind size all the way up to 80, all the way down to 1, which is fine enough to pull a shot of espresso. Yes, I have tried that. So I'm just going to go ahead and click there, and it will automatically, once you start grinding, it'll automatically stop once all the beans go through. So just so you can hear it a little bit, you can hear that motor working in there. On top here, there is a little lid that kind of allows you to put the beans in through the funnel. It should stop. Okay, that was, I guess, just a very poor example. Usually it stops, but I guess I didn't put any grinds in there. The only thing I don't like, this lid is kind of hard to move back and forth on the top there. Okay, so now I want to go over a couple of the features. So this is all app controlled, meaning that this will automatically do a pour over for you, or you can kind of mess with the buttons manually if you choose not to use the app. But you can set this to bloom, you can set this to agitate. So in other words, it will just shake right there for your coffee. And you can set this to do as many pours as you want for as many grams of water as you want to whatever ratio that you want. So on the app, I have multiple different recipes based off of multiple doses, and some of them I do it based off of having the grinder grind for you, as well as having another one without the grinder grinding for you. The reason for that is I have a lot of other grinders that I use. One of the things that I did not like about this machine is this did not sit flat. It kind of actually sat at an angle, slightly like this. So I actually put 2 pieces of electrical tape on the inside of this. So right on that bottom lip, I just put some 2 pieces of electrical tape, and it makes it fit a little bit more tightly, but it also makes it sit a little more flush. They will also have adjustments to change out this piece in the near future, but so far there's only one option. I want to do the convenient method though, and I want to go ahead and brew a coffee from one of these pods. So the nice thing about this is it comes with a card. This is the 3-pour recipe. So this is an automatic recipe that it doesn't seem like you can really change on the card. I wish you could load your own recipes on the card. Maybe you can, and I'm missing that. But I wish I could make 3 recipes per se and have it loaded on the card, and then once I tap the card on the top of the machine, if I could adjust those and select recipe 1, 2, or 3, so then I didn't have to use the app. That would be a huge feature for me. I could set one up to make a flash brew coffee or a regular pour over coffee. But anyway, whatever it does now, I can't really adjust it, but you can see it automatically gives you the grind setting. If you take this card here, this card came with this Ecuador coffee, and this coffee is something, I don't know what it is, but this is a specialty coffee thing, and this has it's one of their blends. It's a washed and natural mixed variety of Colombia, Zambia, Nicaragua, and Brazil. Notes of bittersweet chocolate, black cherry, and roasted almond. So simply, this is the prime blend that they have here. So you can simply take this card that comes with the pods, and you select it on top here, and it will give you a couple of the settings here. And what you're going to do is you're going to simply take off this top portion of this pod, and inside of it you'll see 15 grams of coffee indicated on the lid of this, and you're going to pour that coffee into the grinder. And make sure you don't lose any beans here. I just lost a bean, but it'll be fine. Then you're going to take this little cradle that it has, and you are going to put your filter on top of it. So this is the filter that is reusable for it, so you can just simply throw it down there. The downside is something like the carafe of the Fellow, or most carafes do not fit underneath of here, but here is this mirmug, whatever. So you're going to simply select play, and it will do all the work for you. It's going to automatically move this. We'll see it here in just a second. Now you can see it's moving over to the grinder. All right, once it's done grinding, it's going to automatically stop, and it's going to move it back over to the machine. And this grind setting and this recipe is designed by Ecuador Coffee specifically for this coffee. So you're going to have a nice, probably bloom phase here. I actually can't remember exactly how it does it, but it does a swirl, then it does a straight pour, and it's going to allow it to bloom a little bit here. You can even see that I didn't set this up directly perfect because it's slightly slanted and it's kind of pooling toward one end of the coffee bed. And it's got a nice timer, and it's got your scale on there, and again, that scale does not get messed up when you press on it. The nice thing about this machine is it heats up pretty instantly, so you don't have to actually wait for it. I use this a lot with my Pico Presso. My Pico Presso is a portable espresso machine, and I have that on the office next to this, and it's nice because you always have hot water accessible for it, and you don't have to wait for a kettle to boil up. And you can also still use this grinder for espresso settings if you have that. So this is really an all-in-one package. And pretty soon I'm going to go over exactly whether or not I think it's worth it based off of the features. I think the really hard thing to tell you, and you'll see my opinions on this in the near future, is how this compares at $500 with the built-in scale and the built-in grinder versus the Fellow Aiden at $365, which will allow you to brew a big batch of coffee rather than single serve, but it does not have a built-in grinder and it does not have a built-in scale. And as you can see, it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. This grinder has very little static when it comes to making when it comes to grinding, you don't get grounds all over the place from it. It does a really good job. This is anti-static as well as the Omni Dripper that it comes with as well. The nice thing about these cards is the more of these pods you buy, you can just remember, hey, this is a 15-gram dose of coffee. You could even write it in there. So then you can just do a quick recipe without having to get out the app. The app does give you an incredible amount of control, but I did find it a little finicky to use. I didn't find it to be able to give me the best results because you kind of had to use the app to really dig forward in it. If I could preload a card from a recipe on the app and use this, I would be a lot more of a fan of it. And then it tells you that your coffee is done, and then you just simply pull out your little pod and you can get rid of that. Oops, there's still some coffee in there. Let me just get my little carafe and we'll put it over there. There we go. Now we have a nice cup of coffee that's probably way too hot for me to drink, but I'm going to try it anyway for the sake of you people. This is a great time to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button as I'm testing this brew and giving you an opinion on it. I know one of you guys watching still hasn't clicked that button, so go ahead and hit that subscribe because you're really not going to want to miss the next video. We're getting there. We're almost done. Just hit that subscribe button. That is a really good cup of coffee. The only bad part about that coffee is it's like 3 months old now because I delayed making this video and I saved one of the pods for this video. But nevertheless, this does an incredible job of making a pour over, especially once you do that little fix to the Omni Dripper, which they are working on correcting this in the model. For $500, this is an incredible value. The scale on this thing is just as precise as my Kaya Pearl scale, which cost over $150. I would easily put this grinder, this is a conical burr grinder, I'd easily put this in a $200+ range, so this is giving you a very good job. I would actually probably rank it slightly higher than the Baratza Encore, maybe even better than the Baratza ESP. It really does a phenomenal job, low static, and this is something that I could actually rely on and drink a good cup of coffee from this grinder with not feeling the need to upgrade and getting a different grinder outside of this. This heats up well, the buttons are fine. Again, the main thing is you really kind of do need to use the app almost every single time you brew to get the best results with it and to get the most flexibility with it. If you're willing to do that, I would look no further. $500, this is an incredible value. One of the things I absolutely love about this machine is you can buy a hard shell Pelican style case for it. That will set you back $350. So in other words, for $850, you can get the perfect all-in-one travel setup for you. So when you're going on vacation, you can throw this in a hard shell case, throw it in the back of your car, and take it to wherever you're staying at and have easy brewing coffee for your entire trip without you to have to think about it, without you having to find a good coffee shop. You can have great results from that. I love the fact that they made it beyond easy to use your own beans, meaning that you don't have to shell out the few dollars it is per cup of coffee that it is to use the pods. However, the pods are a nice touch and a nice thing to have on there. I do kind of miss how they used to have the NFC chip or whatever that thing is. They used to have it on a lid so you could just slap the lid on there, but now they have it on cards. Again, I would just recommend getting a bunch of these cards, a bunch of different types of coffee, and then you can use it with your own coffee beans, but having these recipes preloaded is very convenient. You just write how many grams that this recipe is for on there, and then you can weigh out 15 grams or whatever it is based off of that recipe. You could even get one of those like credit card holding things and put it on the side of the machine so you can just slide those in there and then you're good to go. But I would love to have any questions that you have about this machine, anything you want to see. I'm putting this head-to-head with the Aiden, and I'm going to tell you which one you should spend your hard-earned money for and which one I think is better. And spoiler alert, these are both incredible machines, and it is a pretty tough thing to narrow down. But I would love to hear your thoughts, would love to answer any questions that you have. Drop those in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and again, make sure to like and subscribe.